Our next stop on the Hiphoptour is Harlem, New York City. Harlem is one of the 5 boroughs that definitely expounds and exemplifies the African American experience. The Harlem Chamber of Commerce, once a year, gives the Harlem Renaissance Day of Commitment Leadership Breakfast. This year, they honored the Honorable Mayor Bloomberg and Harry Belafonte. And guess what? We were there to get the story.
Harry Belafonte was born in Harlem, New York City in 1927 and raised in Jamaica, West Indies until his return to the U.S. at the outbreak of World War II, when he enlisted in the U.S. Navy. With an honorable discharge, he returned to New York City to live. In exchange for conducting repair work, Belafonte was given a ticket to a production at the American Negro Theater in Harlem, putting him face to face with his destiny.
Oh, island in the sun, held to me by my father's hand. We come from the fire, living in the fire, go back to the fire and the world around.
America has the largest prison population in the world. And of the over 2 million men, women, children who make up the incarcerated, the overwhelming majority is black. They are the most unemployed, the most caught in the unjust systems of justice. There's nothing that you or I can do. It's up to the hip-hop community and the artists who make up that culture to seize the high ground and to do material and do songs and do things that inspire young people and inspire the world at large. The hip-hop community has to fix itself. It doesn't require an external force, internal. And with all of the young men that I met, Chuck D, Most Def, Common, all of them, and we're talking, really get that message, and they're going to put their resources to work to try to make a big difference.
We got a soundbite from the mayor asking him what could the hip-hop community do to better New York City. Here's what he had to say.
First thing is we've got to get guns out of the hands of criminals and people with psychiatric problems. Guns don't belong in the hands of children either. It is a terrible tragedy. America has more guns than people. And every year 12,000 Americans are killed with illegal handguns and 19,000 Americans commit suicide with illegal handguns. And then the second thing is focus on the schools. We've just got to make sure that we get the best teachers in front of the kids. And unfortunately, too many people try to say, well, I don't want to disrupt anybody. But the most important thing in schools is our kids, not the people that work there. And our school system is better in New York than it has been ever, but it's still falling behind. The demands of society for good education keep going up, and the competition from around the world keeps getting stronger. And unless our kids get a good education, they have no future. We talk about income inequality, but it is really not income inequality, it is educational inequality. And if you take out the handful of the very rich who we'd love to have come here, they spend a lot of money, create a lot of jobs, pay a lot of taxes, but if you take them out, it really is a much more level playing field, but it's just skewed totally towards education. You have a good education, 99% of the time you will do much better financially. You have a poor education, 99% of the time you're going to be struggling to feed yourself and a family, if you have one, for the rest of your life. And the kids have just got to understand that the future is in their hands. Some kids are lucky they have parents that explain that to them. Some kids are lucky that have parents that force them to study and send them off to school with lots of advantages. And then some don't. And we've got to make sure all the kids have a chance.
We're back with the legendary Kenny Hicks. Welcome.
Thank you. Welcome.
Today, what did you think about Mr. Belafonte's comments, as well as Mayor Bloomberg's comments on progressivism and what we as a community need to do to continue to move forward?
Well, I think we're fortunate to have people like that starting to get on the same page. I think when you and I met on the street, I was explaining my artist from the hip-hop world that I do.
Yes.
So now to see that generation of people have us in focus is a step in the right direction. It's a little early, but it's a step in the right direction.
And just for our viewers that don't know and are not familiar with
That's
your
right,
legendary
sure.
work,
Yeah.
please just let them know a little bit more about who you are and what you do.
Sure. I'm Ken Hicks, the artistic director for artists for 30 different labels. I'm from Chris Brown to Rihanna to Sting, J-Lo, Mary J. Blige, built from scratch. I go back to the years of Jodeci and building their careers on stage. I brought the Spice Girls to America, and I do about 18 shows on Oprah. So they are just my cross-section of artists is very important, but it's so important to have hip-hop people being respected because that is the way of the future of the music right now.
Well, that ends our tour for today. It's your host with the most, Ameliaismore, saying, watch our next stop on the Hip Hop Tour.